For 10 years, this man ordered pizza every single day. Then employees realized something was off. Pizza is one of those foods that are popular around the world and loved by everyone nationwide. In the US, more than 3 billion pizzas are sold every single year. Wow, that's a lot. The general manager, Sarah Fuller, said he orders every day, every other day. All the employees are regular to his order when he pops up on the screen and knows that it's Kirk immediately. In 2009, Fuller first was acquainted with Alexander when she first started working for Domino's. She started out as a delivery driver, so she got to know him. Fuller knew things about Alexander for sure. He worked from home, he did not leave his home often, and he had serious health problems in the past. After speaking to several neighbors, they started to learn more about Kirk. They said a knock on the door every once in a while, but sometimes he answers. Another neighbor who lives across the street added, very seldom does he ever answer the door. Other neighbors explained that while Kirk maintained his distance from people, he was a good guy. He visited the home of one neighbor, Ben Theodorich's, several times. He would fix their computers. He's quite a tech-savvy guy. Sarah explained that all the delivery men knew Kirk quite well. He saw them every day and they naturally had conversations. This made sense to us. Strangely though, his order did not come through for the next several days. The staff started to feel unsettled. Initially, they imagined that he was probably on vacation of some sort. They carried on with their days thinking that things would return to normal and Kirk would order soon. However, when this didn't happen, the team started to question where he was. This wasn't right. Kirk went to check the system and noticed that it was already 11 days without an order from Alexander. Something was up. It wasn't typical of Kirk not to order for 11 days. At first, they thought they were maybe overreacting, but then they realized they couldn't ignore this. They knew Kirk would never randomly stop ordering unless it was something more serious. At that point, Sarah was certain something was going on. Kirk was quite a dedicated customer and he knew all the staff. He was a quiet man, but still friendly and kind. Not only did the staff consider him a friend, but also his family. The employees also knew that it was out of character for him to take long trips. Maybe he chose a new pizza place. What do you think? The employees really valued Kirk and looked forward to serving him every day. When the thought popped into their minds that he may have found a new pizza place, they were not totally thrilled. They considered him a friend. After weeks passed, Fuller sent an employee to go and see what was going on with Kirk. Sarah assigned the job to Tracy Hamblin. He drove over to Kirk's home, walked to the front steps, and saw the lights on inside. Then he noticed that the TV was on too. Something was fishy. Tracy approached Kirk's home, not knowing what he would find. He was alone in this, and he wanted to come back with good news for his coworkers. He got out of his car and approached Kirk's front door, unprepared for what he would find. Tracy immediately noticed that the lights were on and his face lit up. This had to mean that Kirk was inside. But if he was home, then why wasn't he ordering? He knocked on the door and waited for a response. Hamblin began knocking on the door, but Kirk didn't answer. He took out his cell phone and decided to ring him several times. When he received no answer repeatedly, he began to be concerned. Despite the sounds and lights on, Kirk still did not answer the door. They decided to call his cell phone, but still no answer. After repeatedly phoning him, they decided to call 911 for assistance. They explained to the operator that there was a customer who orders regularly, but then they didn't for 11 days. They were getting concerned and wanted to speak to the police. Then they were transferred to the county sheriff's department. The police immediately headed over to Alexander's house, unsure of what they would find. They knocked on the door and shouted his name over and over. The police heard him inside screaming for help. They knocked down the door and called the ambulance to help. It's said that Kirk had had many strokes in the past. Soon enough, Alexander was taken to the hospital. The police said that it was clear that Kirk was in need of immediate medical attention. If they'd just been one day later, then Alexander probably wouldn't have made it. They learned that Kirk suffered from a stroke. Fortunately, the paramedics managed to stabilize him. At that point, nobody had answers. There were no eyewitnesses, and nobody understood how long he was lying there. By the grace of God, the police arrived in the nick of time. The medical staff even saved his life, and he was going to make a full recovery. The employees at Domino's could not believe it. They were so happy to hear this that they managed to get help. One of the employees said, "We want to give him flowers, hopefully help him recover faster, knowing that people do care about him. It's so uplifting to see how people are willing to help each other in times of crisis." The staff went to visit Kirk at the hospital. They said he was not fully himself the first day, but when they returned, he was doing much better. He was then moved to a rehabilitation center at the hospital and started coming back to normal. However, the staff at Domino's do not call themselves heroes. They believe that they're doing their job and checking up on people who order from them frequently. They did not think it was appropriate to do nothing. The staff at Domino's really did something inspiring. The story got the attention of the media and it was made viral. Now everyone knows about this story nationwide. Sarah had an interview with Good Morning America along with the assistant manager. They were asked to explain what happened. Afterward, they were commended for such a kind act. Also, they updated on Alexander's situation since they visited him before. The employees continued to visit Alexander. They wanted to make sure he had everything he needed and was doing okay. They were determined that he had all he needed to feel comfortable. Hopefully, he can get back home soon and return to his normal routine of ordering Domino's pizzas.